Oh. Shit. Whew. Okay. Well, let's see how durable this thing is. Welcome to the Zen Zone. We're gonna do a little V11 review today. We're at about 130 miles, give or take a few. Really loving this machine. Although it's currently, it's still rideable, but I have some damage that I've done to it that needs to be repaired. I like to start off on this bridge. This is actually a really bumpy bridge, and on the V11 it just sail right over these bumps, no problem. I think it's really good on sidewalks. Sidewalks can be pretty bumpy, and stairs, it does really well on stairs. You can see here going down some stairs. I'm not really a stair mobber, and the V11 has made it possible for me to go down multiple flights of stairs. Not something I'm going to be doing too often. I don't really see the use in going downstairs other than making videos, and it kind of looks cool, and just to test out the suspension to see how the suspension handles on the stairs, to kind of get a sense of what needs to be fine-tuned. I think stairs are a great way to see what adjustments you need to make to your suspension. I can't adjust my suspension right now, as we'll cover at the end of the video, because I stripped one of my valves. The red cap fell off and I stripped one of my valves doing some off-roading. So I can't really recommend it for really hardcore off-roading where the valves on the bottom of the suspension may grind. But for any other kind of riding, it's amazing. Especially on sidewalks. I don't know why. I'm not really much of a sidewalk rider, but on the sidewalks, because on my Nikola, it's like you feel every little divot between the sidewalks, and it's just not as fun. You can't get into a flow because it's not smooth. But on the V11, it's smooth. You can go through some windy sidewalks that are kind of bumpy without any problems. It's amazing, man. It's one of the smoothest machines that I've ever ridden. And everyone that I've let try it has been sold on the suspension. Like, even my buddy was like, wow, I didn't think suspension was going to be that big of a deal. But now that I'm actually riding it, I can see this innovation is going to make a huge impact on the EUC world. And we're just getting started. All right, we're going to take the V11 out, do some off-roading, do a little bit of testing. We already did the stair test. It's great on the stairs. Now we're going to take it and do some off-roading. As mentioned previously, this off-roading is not the best of ideas unless it's smooth. Some of this track is fine, but any track that may have a rock or something protruding that could hit the bottom of your valves, be careful, because the valves are very sensitive and the caps tend to fall off pretty easy. Inmotion is going to try to fix those, I think, in the later batches. All right, first test we have is going up Vegas Overheat Hill. It's not an overheat hill. Nothing's ever overheat on it, but it's a big hill, and it's a fun way to test out your new V11 going up a big hill. I'm here with my buddy Tarzan. He's on the MSP. I'm on the V11, testing it up this hill. This kind of off-roading is not too bad. It's smooth. There's nothing I could really scrape the valves on, the bottom of the valves. Just smooth trail up. Good way to test it out. I will say it doesn't quite have the power of the MSP torque. He's going to pass me pretty easily here. It's a very tall device, and it's only 84 volts, so it doesn't have that power that I like going up hills off-roading. I don't think it's going to be great for uphill off-roading. If you have to go up a big hill, it's not that great, unless it's paved. If it's paved, it's no problem, but these kind of rocky, gravelly off-roading uphills is going to be a little bit difficult for it, as it doesn't just have that torque. It doesn't have that. Look how easy the MSP is keeping up with me. And the MSP is just way more powerful for this kind of stuff. If I was doing this kind of riding up a hill, the MSP would be my #1 choice. The V11 it can do it. I made it up the hill, no problem. But it just doesn't have the power of even my 100-volt Nikola going up the hill. Going up the hill on my 100-volt Nikola was much easier. It's smaller, and it's not as tall as the V11 and V11. Very tall, but we made it, so it's all good. Test 1 complete. All right, we have some more off-roading here. This is right after I crashed it. I don't know if it considered a crash or wreck or whatever. I was coming down the hill, as you saw in the intro of the video, and lost control of it. It's pretty bouncy off-roady. The suspension bounces you up a little bit too high. I think I need to, of course, fine-tune my suspension. I haven't had the opportunity to play with the negative chambers yet, which are in the post-production model. There are negative chambers, which I don't quite understand what the use of them is for, but I think when you're fine-tuning your device, you're going to want to use the negative chambers to reduce the kickback, bounce back up, and also putting some pads over your feet to lock yourself in when you're off-roading might be an option to keep yourself from losing control of the device in it, rolling down the mountain, spinning out of control. Chose to walk it right here. Didn't want to lose control of it again right after crashing. It is a bit harder to mount than other EUCs. Not really harder, but it is, you are a lot higher up, so you got to step up higher. So when you're stopping to get off it and to get on it, mounting it is a little bit more difficult than other EUCs, but not a lot. But it is noticeably harder. Feels really nice going downhill. Downhills are just smooth. I mean, the suspension levels everything out. Hitting these rocks right here, it's like you hardly even notice. It's not much wear and tear on the knees. It's such a great off-roading device, minus the one thing we've talked about. See, if there's like a big protruding rock that you see on the sides here, if I were to scrape the air valve on that, it's damaged, and it looks like I might need a new shock, unless I could somehow fix it, which I have no idea how to do that, but we will try. So be careful if you're doing this kind of technical off-roading, which you kind of want to do on the V11 because of the suspension. Look how easy it just glides over these obstacles. You just, again, gotta be careful. Can't forget to mention, as we were leaving, a park ranger mentioned to us we're not allowed to off-road on these EUCs at Red Rock. Or she didn't say EUCs, you're just not allowed to off-road, I guess, on anything. So be aware of that. Just trolley it around if you're going to do some climbing.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
The trolley handle is pretty good. I like it. It's some people may be confused on how to initiate it at first. There's a little lever under the handle that you press, and then you can pull the lever up, and it works great. Look here, just yeah. Oh wow, the MSP going up, going up the red rocks. I'm trolleying it around. I do like the trolley handle. It's not like the MSX trolley handle, which is garbage. The V11 trolley handle is actually usable, and it's great. I like the way it works. No complaints about the trolley handle. None at all. What about EUCs? I hop on my EUC, my V11, I ride up to Red Rock, and I can climb. It's like not burning any fuel. I'm doing it as efficiently as possible. It feels clean. It doesn't feel like I'm kicking up a lot of gas to go get my kicks. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels like the most efficient way to get out to Red Rock and to climb, to get my workout in. It's like my gym. Red Rock is my gym. I want it to be my gym. Another great thing about the EUCs is they're not like kicking up a lot of dirt or making a lot of ruckus. People can still enjoy the scenery. If people were climbing, they wouldn't be distracted by the vroom, 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 vroom of a motorcycle blazing down the Red Rock scenic loop. You know, those are very boisterous. The EUCs are. And the weight of them. I weigh like 140, somewhere in there. And the EUC weighs 55, 60 pounds. So let's just round it up to 200 pounds. There's a lot of people that weigh 200 pounds walking on these trails. So I'm not really damaging this. So we're about to have a little bit of fun, do a little bit of climbing. If you guys are into climbing and you're ever in California, go to Joshua Tree. If you're in Vegas, go to Red Rock. They're very similar, yet they're each like totally unique in their own way. Yes, my safety gear makes me hot and sweaty in these high Vegas temperatures, but not too bad. And then you just rinse off in the shower afterwards, rinse your gear in the shower when you get home, and you're fine. So it's worth it to wear the gear. I recommend gear. Elite gear is the best gear that I've encountered. If you know anything better, let me know, please. All right, we're going to go into a little riding / climbing montage. I hope you enjoy it. This is Red Rock, one of the most beautiful places in the world, and it's kind of overlooked here in Vegas. Not many people know that it's like 15-30 minute drive from Vegas, depending where you are. And it's amazing. It's so beautiful, and the climbing is the best. It's Alex Honnold, one of the free solo climber, lives here in Vegas because he likes to climb year round, and this is the place to do it. I hope you enjoy this montage. After it's over, we're going to get back into like the V11 review and kind of summarize my 150 miles, and I'm going to talk about who I think would enjoy this device and which kind of people it would best suit. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned.
Жить тяжело и не уютно.
All right, back to the V11 review. That was a really fun climb and ride. The V11 does great on the street at Red Rock there, that smooth road. But I do prefer my Nikola. If there's not any bumps or potholes and it's just flat, smooth road, then the Nikola wins. It is the king of the streets, and this extra speed is really nice to have there at Red Rock. So if I'm riding to Red Rock, I will probably be using the Nikola. The V11 though, here on this paved track, this sidewalk, it's my preferred ride. Oh look, the Skydio made it through the tunnel. That's pretty sweet. Almost made it through the tunnel. I think I had to take manual control, yep, and whip it back around to lock it on me. But yeah, so for this kind of riding, the V11 wins. Anything with bumps, cracks, potholes, anything like that, the V11 wins. That suspension is nice and smooth. If you have any knee problems, back problems, this is probably the device to get. If you have any sort of like body pains and you still want to ride, the V11 is probably the way to go. It has more range than the S18. I'm actually about to get my S18, I think this week, so I'll be able to compare the two. But I'm really sold on the V11. The lights are great at nighttime. The brake light is amazing. The app, the Inmotion app, is really good. It has a diagnostic tool and all kinds of cool features on there. The V11 is a winner. If Inmotion can keep up with the parts, like I really need a shock, please send me a shock Inmotion. I'll buy it. I don't care. If they can keep up with the parts, because it is a very intricate device, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more problems with it than other EUCs, maybe, because there's just more moving parts. If you saw the breakdown video, oh my gosh, there's a lot of parts, a lot of screws, a lot that can go wrong. The only thing that's went wrong with my V11, I'll show you at the end. But for this kind of pavement, it's amazing. If you're a bit older, the V11's probably for you. If you're thinking about getting a King Song 18XL, I wouldn't even do it. For the same price, you could get the V11. The V11's much better than the King Song 18XL. I think the 18XL might get more range, but other than that, it's just really not worth it. Yeah, so it pretty much makes the 18XL obsolete in my opinion. The high pedals are really, really awesome. I like having the high pedals because you can avoid scraping them, but obviously I still did scrape them, but mostly you'll avoid scraping them on other rocks and stuff like that and obstructions. It has a very high pedal clearance. Some people may not like it because it's harder to step on and step off at first until you get used to it, but once you get used to it, it's just fine. Those high pedals allow you to make sharper, tighter turns. Love it. As far as range goes, I think, I've done a few range tests, I think you could get 35 to 50 miles depending, I know that's a big range, depending on how aggressive you're riding and how much you weigh, etc, etc. There's a lot of factors if you're going uphill, downhill, if you're getting regen or not. I'm pretty sure you can get about 35 to 50 miles, which is pretty good on a battery this size. I'm impressed with the range. I think my friend and I are going to do an MSP versus V11 showdown in terms of range, and I think the V11 would beat the MSP. Although, if you're going at the same speeds, we'll see what's up. Stay tuned for that MSP versus V11 range test. But as far as the range goes, 35 to 50 miles is going to get you pretty much anywhere you need to go. Comes with a 2.5 amp charger. That's amazing. All right, now for the negatives, and there's actually not too many. Number one, the process of disassembly is going to be quite complicated. If you watch the Inmotion V11 breakdown video, there's a lot of moving parts. It's going to be difficult. You're going to need a lot of tools. It's not going to be fun doing a tire change, but at least the video is there, and yeah, hopefully it's not too bad. No Bluetooth speakers. I didn't think that was going to bother me that much, but when you're out riding at night by yourself, I don't have any other form of way of playing music loud. Maybe I can buy something, but I love my Nikola speakers. I think I'll be taking my Nikola out at night, even though I like the lights of the lights on the V11 better. I think my Nikola will be the one I'm riding by myself at night. If I'm with a group, I'll just bring the V11 because I don't need the speakers. But if I'm out riding by my night, I like to jam out, get into a flow with the music, and the V11 doesn't have the speakers, so I'm going to count that as a negative. There's going to be a lot of adjusting out of the box. You're going to have to put in, it's not like you just plug it in, charge it up, and then go. You're going to have to pump up the air suspension. You have to take off some screws and play with the negative air chambers. There's a lot that goes into getting this wheel going. And that's pretty much it for the negatives. Not too many. I really hope you guys enjoyed this review. I don't like doing reviews that much, but I feel like it's helpful. I would like to have seen this review before I bought the V11 because I wouldn't have done the crazy stuff with it. I'll go and show you the videos of how I scraped up the... It wasn't me, it was Tarzan. Tarzan, you scraped up my V11 air suspension shocks. Let's show the video. All right, here's what caused the damage on the V11. Tarzan off-roading this rock path here. Not a good idea. I wouldn't do it again now that I know. But I didn't also realize I was missing one of the red caps. All right, after that episode in the rocks, this was fused on. Needed to get two tools, the monkey wrench and Allen wrench. It comes loose really easy no matter how hard you tighten it. This thing just seems to come loose and it falls off. And when it falls off, this can be damaged here, this air valve. Okay, I just flipped it over so you can see this air valve has receded into here. I can no longer pump it up. Even when it was out, it was so damaged that I can't, air just leaks out of it. I can't pump it up at all. So this shock doesn't have much air. It still actually feels fine, but I'm not going to be riding it because, you know, whatever. But I need a new shock. All I need is a new shock. I can put a new shock in, be good to go. Even put the cap on this side. All right, here is the part that I need. Right here, it's looks like it's pretty easy to replace. So you just unscrew the red cap and unscrew that, and then pull out the shock, and then I would just put in a new shock in theory. This is the part I need right here. What he's pulling out right here is the part I need. If I could get that part he just pulled out, good to go. I really hope you enjoyed my first review. I think this is my first review. And until next time, stay in the Zen Zone.